Hello and welcome to Why Are We Talking About Rabbits? Guys, today's an Uncle Seth episode. And what are we trying to do? A little theology, a little philosophy, a little haranguing of one another in order to find out some things that are really important in life, like where do I stand in relationship to these old world things and these new world things and my principles? And what is it to be a blue state person and a red state person? Uncle Seth gives voice, because he's crazy. He gives voice to Chicago, Midtown, New World person. And today we talk about aliens. That's right. If an alien comes, does an alien usurp the power of the one God by being the one outsider we can all either unite with in order to fight or unite with in order to worship? That's how we get started. But then it goes into shmamortion and it goes into really stay tuned, because by the time we get to the end, there's a whole thing there about contrition, repentance, and the idea of the pandemic being, quote, over. And or not until there is some of those things on WAWTAR. All right, we're back.
Hey,
Uncle Seth.
Hello.
Uncle Seth, you are appearing once. I think this is 8 times or 7 times at least.
Yeah.
And it's just awful because people like you, even though you make no sense. And I think you make sense, but in this really just irreverent way I hate you on a lot of occasions. But I will say tonight is not one of them, because we're going to...
Come on, man.
This is a good one, guys.
You can hate me for the 8th time.
He came up. This is his topic. So for those of you who don't know, if you're first time tuning into this darkly lit screen with some dude drinking, can we even call you an Indian guy? Like, if you even owned your
Why
racial...
can't you?
We can, right?
Yeah. The fact that, hey, I smell of appropriation. You know, you're trying to deny me.
No,
not your other take mine. You just deny me.
Okay, then I get to be Greek. If you're Indian, I'm Greek.
You're not really Greek.
It's a quarter Greek, so half Indian, and you score the win on that.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, tight guys. This is my dear friend who checks in with us on WAWTAR as we talk about new world, old world things.
Thanks for having me, John, as always.
Oh, we got some doozy questions for you at the end from some of the viewers, by the way. And so folks who don't know Seth, this is your first time. He basically, somehow we remain best of friends. So he helps give voice to some of the things that clearly, if you've been listening to my podcast, are new world, and also things I probably unfairly rip into. Although I would say sometimes it's fairly done. Well done. Some of this.
I feel I want to say that for anybody that's been listening, that you would consider yourself a new worlder. I'm doing my best to give an idea of what a new worlder might say. I think.
Yeah, I think that's your strong suit, is you say stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that it's true, though. I mean, this is my best as someone that you guys would call a new worlder. This is how I feel.
Well,
I think my people. All right, go ahead.
Let's start with a toast.
Okay.
In the tradition of the Georgian restaurant that we opened, you know about it. You're going to come play there with your crowd, with your crew one of these days. The KP restaurant in Greenville, but really in the tradition of the Georgian Supra, also sometimes called a KP. We are going on a trip, Seth, September 16th. It's in the books. We have 4 seats left.
Wow.
It's August 10th. If you'd like to catch one of these seats, we'll do 10 days in Georgia. Great place to visit. Beautiful. And also every aspect of culture you ever want to see. Middle Eastern, European. It's crazy. Beautiful. So we're going, and in the tradition of that country, as you, Tom, and I want to say this to you, Seth. A year and a half later, we continue to somehow get up and do this show. And I just want to tell you something. It's been good. And I'm thankful for you. So gratitude for being able to be together. Gagi Marjos. So that brings us to this question. It's your question, and here it is on some level. Do you think red and blue, but extended philosophically into old and new, or extended even further into something like believers in a God, not believers in a God, atheist, and I don't know what do you guys call us these days? Theists.
Bangers.
So I'm not saying all those things are equal, but if we kind of parse out society that way, do you think, and you actually have an answer for this, if an alien suddenly appears that's not red or blue or old or new and is somehow like the one, the thing that's different from all of us, do you think that would have a uniting, an effect of uniting humanity, or would it just rip us apart?
I think it would. I think, just from in what way you're like, really society goes down, or we're just warring?
Do you think it turns us together as a, what you guys would say, species? I would say.
Oh, I see.
As created beings.
Yeah, no, I don't think so at all. I think that what would happen is that a lot of people on my side, I think, would then just further loathe belief on the other side, when it would look to us as if there's direct refutation of your dogma. But then what would happen is your people would say, that's not true. We never said there can't be life coming from other planets. But I think it having some kind of common thing. Are you saying are we going to think globally and as one people?
No. Well, that's so there's a couple ideas in there, and that's why I found this whole topic. First of all, if someone right now is going, are these dudes talking about aliens? On some level, yes, but not so we can talk about aliens, but so we can talk about human nature. So my question is, yes, would an alien life force, not clearly human, would it be the thing that we can all say is either our enemy, therefore we're united, or it's our God, therefore we're united? You don't think that would happen?
No. I think that a side of society would continue to cling to ideas that the other part of society cannot. It's not a uniting thing. It's a division. So it would exacerbate the division.
Okay, so then here's another question, and this is I'm using now a document from that you sent me. Do you New World, you scored you scored high on the lightometer, but not that high. I think you scored a 7. Here's the question for you. Do you believe in this alien life force? Because I can tell you what white evangelicals, according to this website, and I think this is Pew, right?
Yeah.
White evangelicals have an answer to the question, does intelligent life exist on other planets? They have an answer. I'm wondering what your answer is.
Well, I can tell you resoundingly for me, yes. Is there life on other planets?
Oh, you're saying yes.
Is that what was the question?
That's the question. Is there intelligent life on other planets?
Yes, there is. Absolutely.
Okay. White evangelicals, according to Pew Research, by a margin of 60 to 40%, argue that there is not intelligent life.
Right.
On other planets.
Yes. And so let me just explain that. When I had this idea, there were just so many ways to think about it, but also from the perspective that, and this is why I found this interesting. I looked it up, that you can really, at least from my perspective, use the science to figure out what is the the amount that people are going to put into believing something. So what is the category? Do they have a category for like super new world atheist?
Yes, they do. I want to hear what you mean by put into it. I don't know what you mean by that, but here's atheistic. Yeah. So atheistic folks who respond to this question, intelligent life on other planets, they answer at a rate 85% say does exist.
Yes, exactly.
What is that? That's a lot. That's a great percentage of 85%. Your people saying they believe strongly.
Yeah.
Why?
Because we believe that life is possible outside of God creating. Now, let me ask you this: in the Orthodox tradition, in the Orthodox tradition,
well, I would answer that, but they don't put Orthodox on here again.
What percentage do you think you guys would ring up there? Speak for the Orthodox.
Okay, I'm going to. Orthodox people listening to this, I think we'd say something like 50-50.
Tell me who that puts you in line with. Who are you in league with? Around 50%
here.
No, they've got
they have. Here's some of the. Okay. This is great. White evangelicals 58% say no. White non-evangelical, not you. Also, 65% say yes. What? So if you're not an evangelical and you're just a white person, also, by the way, terrible categories. Like, what does that even mean? Like, really white? I don't know.
Okay, but 65. We kind of know.
Do we know though?
We kind of know.
People listening right now are like, we do kind of know. But whatever that is, I guess that's a guy with skinny jeans. I don't know. Black Protestants, again, in Africa, because they're black. No, that's not what it is.
No, it is not that. I think it's
U.S.
American
adults.
poll. Yeah, U.S. adults. And this is what I'm saying is that this harkens back to my theme. If anybody's suffered through 8 of these, you always hear about this. I mean, I like saying the real problem is Americananity. I still haven't figured out the portmanteau, like that,
Could you please say that again for the listeners? Americananity?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
I have some more of my mezcal on that one. Americananity.
American Christianity. There's got to be a nice.
I got you.
What is the
Christianism? Christian.
Yeah.
Christian.
Christican.
Oh, that's pretty good. A Christican.
Yeah.
A Christican.
A Christian.
Do we all understand listening what that means? A Christian who is an American. A Christican.
A Christican.
That's pretty good. All right. So go ahead. What are you trying to say about Christians?
Well, the Christians are the unfortunate prophets of culture around the world and thought and culture. Christians, not Christians, and really not Americans, but Christians. And so
because they're the voice of the empire called America.
Yeah, right. For sure.
And you're saying something like they don't think there's a alien because they think they're special.
They're special. Exactly. And so the question is that for my people, we believe that the judgment day is coming. And our judgment day is these grays show up, they mutilate some cattle.
Wait, so you're actually.
I hope there's no probes involved. But what happens is
he's just watching Netflix. That's all that's happening right now.
What happens is all of a sudden, their specialness is ripped from them.
The specialness of the Christians.
Of the Christians, exactly right.
There's
And
actually some really interesting thoughts going on right now. I find it fascinating what you're. This almost feels like a. It feels like an origins tale of like angry brown global South folks who are saying something like there'll be a reckoning for sort of British Empire people for all that they did, and you're placing the reckoning somehow almost like in the alien invasion.
well,
As it,
it's no.
see what I'm saying?
Just,
As if that were to be a final way of understanding how Christicans are not actually the leading edge of thought in the world, and finally someone speaking on behalf of the little people.
That's right. That there's thoughts out there that go beyond. I mean, they can't even believe that there would be life on other planets. 60% of them. Now I have to say 40% of them, that's good. That's not bad. At least their side is an 85.
But what makes you so 85% sure? There's no real evidence. Where's the evidence?
No. Okay, but
it's extrapolated through your powerful intellect that some other intellect must be as powerful as I. It's weird.
Well, listen,
what is that?
I've looked at the math, and math. Well, we're just doing probability. It might be that we are special. It might be. I'm not saying that I know that we're not, but the math says we're not.
Because of just possibilities?
And correct. And what tells you, but you guys are trying to walk this sword where you're saying, well, there could be other life in other planets. And if so, God made it. I know what that's going to happen if the Greys show up, is that all of a sudden there's
the Greys here are aliens. Can you speak? Can you say that? Okay.
There's going to be a lot of rationalizing some kind of thought patterns, or would, because that's what it's built up to be,
I want to get back to this, but let's just
all right.
People listening. No. This is actually the track, but I just know these polls interest people, so I'll just finish. How many people who call themselves or identify as Black Protestant, that's one of the categories, says, hey, there's definitely life on another planet. 55% of Black Protestants. You feel their Christicanish ways kicking in because they don't go all the way up to 85.
Yeah.
But they don't want to be fully in bed with the white evangelicals or something. Catholics. This is interesting. The Catholic response, 67% say, you want to say that, what's your number on that? Is that a no way, or is that a yes?
I say 67%. If I'm being honest, I say they say no alien life.
Flip it.
Ouch.
67% of Catholics say, yes, there is a alien life.
Okay.
That throws a wrench in your little plan there, pal.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm just working on this. I only came up with this idea 2 days ago. It's like
unaffiliated. And I will not claim unaffiliated.
No.
Orthodox are not on this list.
I'll claim those people.
80% of unaffiliated people, when it comes to religion, say there's other life out there.
Yeah. See, so you see the people with, I shouldn't say that. The Catholics really throw a wrench in my plan. It's those Catholics.
Well, the Catholics have sacraments. The Catholic have mysteries, as do the Orthodox, and the mystery is not meant to be trifled with.
Right.
So we don't have those answers. Unlike your folks who always have the answers. By the way, why do you guys always have the answers?
Because we trust the numbers.
So let's get into that for 1 second and go back to that for 1 second. There really is no evidence. There's just math doing. And so are you elevating math to a type of God?
No.
Are you sure it's right?
I think there is evidence and there's math. There's math in the probability of out of, a trillion galaxies and trillion of stars in those. The sands on the beach. There's more stars than all the grains of sand on the beach,
And that.
So there's the math.
How do you know that again? You, not the book you read.
Well, I know.
How do you know?
Because I trusted my priests. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah,
I
that's exactly what I'm going to say. You have not experienced.
You know what I should do? Hey guys, if John gets COVID or is otherwise indisposed, I'm just going to do the podcast and I'm going to take both sides. We're going to have a split screen on this side. I'll wear a hat
because these.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, we're going to bring up your buddy Stalin. There's gulags. We're going to talk about Gulag Archipelago on that side.
I will work this in. That somehow your argument will end in a gulag. But hold on. I do really think this, though. I do think that you are doing something super fascinating, which is you're extrapolating from what you do know, told to you by others who you trust, and you're projecting based on your own love of the intellect that the intellectuals you trust are actually correct.
No.
But there's a weird thing. Any good scientist would tell you they really don't know until it's proven otherwise. And so you really shouldn't be 85% sure of this. I think the scientists, the atheists should answer, we don't know. It should be like 50-50.
Okay. Number one, I'm willing to say we don't know, so I don't think that the
you didn't answer
not on
that
this
earlier.
Podcast. Not on this podcast.
You didn't answer it earlier. Guys, did you hear him? He's like, oh, come on. The numbers, probability, baby.
Listen,
you go to Vegas? Because you should not go to Vegas ever. But I've seen you in Vegas.
I've been in Vegas. I'm really. So there's the numbers evidence, just in terms of numbers, but there's also the physical evidence that we've identified elements in the universe, or we've identified it not only on our planet, elements that gave rise to life, but we've also identified them out floating in the universe.
Okay.
So we've trusted that what we think is some evidence that there's a possibility of it. I think that's fair to say.
Like there's a possibility for a God.
And okay, and then tell me why.
Well, here's one, because the numbers, when run properly, and you're going to agree with this, on the chances of there being human life through the random speciatic changes over hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
The chance of that. Have you ever seen the numbers on that? They're pretty low.
Yeah, they're slim. They're slimmer.
You would not believe in your own existence if you only used numbers.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you would have posited 100 million years ago, whatever, that I will not exist. Yet you do somehow.
Yeah.
Despite the numbers.
Yeah. But what's happening is and I probably mentioned this, I hope I mentioned this on another podcast, or else I'm really, really slacking. But you think it's such a leap. It's almost a leap to faith, and you try to burn me with saying something like faith.
Yes, I am going to burn you with that.
I know, but that's a burn. So faith is dark, is what you're saying, because it's always a burn on me that it's like faith.
No, you, as a human being, have and will use and will always be involved with this thing called intuition that allows you to see into a world not dominated by material and numbers. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say.
Here's the whole thing. Here's the whole thing.
That's all I'm trying to say.
I'm saying that I don't.
You just deny that part of you. You just deny that part of you, which if I say spiritual, you're going to rip on me, but you deny the part of you, and it's a part. It's like a reality in your own existence. You just deny that thing exists. And I don't know why you do that. Because just like a little flipper hand, if you never use it, it's just going to go away eventually. And just going to have a little flipper hand. And stop making your soul into a flipper hand.
Yeah.
Can I say flipper hand? I feel like I'm in trouble.
I don't know. Don't say flipper baby.
I didn't say flipper babe.
Yeah, but everybody thinks that.
Oh no! Now you've even brought up. By the way, we haven't spoken since bum bum bum. Since the Supreme Court
I know
said no more abortions.
That's right. That's right.
But by the way, they didn't say that.
Oh my God! Come on!
You just said my God.
I know. That proves. They obviously you're one of these people that leave it to the people. Then leave it to the people. Why is the state given such like this is a god, the states' rights, but the states are just mini federal governments where people are getting outvoted, and if it's leave it to the people, then leave it to the people. It makes no sense.
Well, you mean leave things that are like really important? Like
yeah,
don't leave the really important stuff to the people. Because you leave stuff to the people all the time, like voting for the president, and then they voted up Trump. Like, I don't think, would you take that away from the people?
No, they didn't do that because it's not a popular vote. If it's
true.
If it's a popular vote, then I think that's what you have to stand by. That's kind of like a baseline.
Why can't that be the process in the States? You know the philosophy. I know you know this. You teach the history. It's that as you get closer and closer to common people, you get closer and closer to common sense. But you don't believe that, do you? Do you believe that?
No.
Where does common sense reside for you in the power structure that's called government? Like, it's probably what, like, I know it's not Joe Biden. It's probably Kamala for you. She has all the common sense.
The angel of common sense.
Yeah, no, it's Kamala Harris. It's our vice president.
No, listen, if you're trying to tar me with people who are or examples of things that aren't common sense, you know, like, I know there's.
I am tarring you with that.
I know. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's get back. Where were we, man?
All right. I'll do some more numbers and then we'll. All right. Well, I think there's some philosophical point here that we need to bring up, and I'll get to it.
Let's get back to that.
You can get into the old world, new world. So, okay. So the highest number are atheists and agnostics who say 85 and 86% that there definitely is a creature, and so or some alien that exists on other planets. Now, one of the problems with this that I saw when you sent it to me is that all of this, it presupposes sort of static science that takes earthly existence and projects it into places we've never been. And it imagines that what a rock is here is something like what a rock is there, and what time is here is something like what time is there. And see, what I'm not so sure about is that there is this like road to UV planet 29, 2 galaxies away. I don't think that when you go down this space travel like concept, I don't think everything stays the same. In the same way, I don't believe evolution. Like, I don't think you can say what existed 100 million years ago is anything like today. Like, you're presupposing too many things, like that time is the same, or that space dimension is the same. You're imagining that everything is as you are right now, and I don't think you can do that. Quantum physics shows us this, that there's all these other laws that apply that have nothing to do with the laws that we experience, like in our own day to day. So what I'm trying to say is it's very possible that other life forms exist, but they're not on other planets. In other words,
that's fine. That's fine.
Now you're talking about gods and angels.
No.
Now what I'm trying to say is there may be other life forms. We call them demons and angels. What do you think about that idea?
I like that idea. I've told you about my religious experiences have involved some things that I think maybe are closer to that. But we don't even have to debate, if there are aliens or not, or what they look like. What I'd like to debate is, let's say there is incontrovertible proof. Mm-hmm. There's a crash, and they can,
and like the bald guy comes. Well, by the way,
right.
I'm bald.
Oh,
I shaved my head.
yes.
I look like one of the
I
aliens.
love it. Yeah. Keep the hat off because now it's really, I feel like I'm communing.
What do you
Again,
think? What do you think? This is on
I
first
love it.
time on the pod.
You have a great shaped head.
I don't have a terrible shaped head.
You've got a great shaped head. It looks perfect. Mine is one of these eggish.
What happens? It's bumpy.
I think it is. I mean, I could feel them.
Do you think? Well, you've never shaved your head because you're like cool and sexy, Seth. You wouldn't do that.
That's not the reason I wouldn't do it.
But if you did do it, then Allison would not like that. My wife said, because my wife likes dares and stuff. She's like, I dare you. I was like,
I know. I like that about her.
Okay.
I like that about her.
And then I did it. And she was like, oh Lord.
Yeah. and that should tell her, don't dare me.
Don't dare me. Don't dare me to quit my job and start a nonprofit. I'll do it. I dare you. Done. Also,
you think I won't cash in my IRA?
Also, yes, my 401k and health insurance did it. Face. I nailed you. Okay, I won. And also, the kids have to come to me when when the kids have eye problems, I'll fix it.
That's right. No insurance. Listen, let me just.
It's just a blood disease. I can take care of it. I'm sorry.
You have a special doctor on your side, people.
That's correct.
Handy.
Don't forget
for getting out of medical bills. So this is one final thing, and then we can go how you want. Say there's incontrovertible proof, okay, and say they look like us or they don't look like us, or they
look like me. Oh, I get it. Okay, go ahead.
What do you think happens to most, or how do you think it breaks out among believers that idea or that fact? Does that alter your the amount of people who, and in what way?
So to the Christicans, to the
Christicans, first of all, let's talk about them.
Okay. So to the dominant Protestant American approach, I actually do think, not unlike what's happening right now with postmodernism and this idea of relativism,
which you hate.
I do, but be careful. Some of it I loathe. What I want to say is that's tearing apart Protestant Christianity. And you know what? I think the alien idea would tear it apart too.
Yeah.
I don't know how the theology would sound after that in terms of human.
I think it would sound like a lot of rationalizations. That's how it would sound to me. I think that for the old world people to receive news of something that they believe, because you can't get people to, can't get people to believe that's staring them right in the face. So let's just assume that everybody, what?
When you say that's staring you right in the face, are you aware you're using a series of
because
presuppositions called science. In other words,
how can you say you're against relativism if you're just basically saying that whatever I say is just based on how I look at things, and that everybody has a different opinion?
Well, because
where's the doctrine here?
Right. So relativism, and the way I'm using it is the idea that everything is relative to the individual. Okay. So in other words, that it's not green. I'm not a man because I don't think I am. And so what I'm trying to say is the individual is not the fulcrum on which reality rests. That's not how we know. So I do think everything is relative to Christ.
Okay. But
hold on. So for you, that's just relativism. In other words, that's just me picking some random thing. And so now my thing is relative to your thing, and all things are relative to each other. But what I'm trying to say is reality comes out of, right, Christ. And so Christ is the thing on which everything rests. Now, you don't agree, but I'm not a relativist because I believe that. I believe that, and that makes me a Christian, which is different than what you are. You are a relativist. You have to be.
Okay.
Don't you?
Well, listen, but this keep going off the board. Proof in however you like it. Okay. So John, what if you understood whatever something happened or something came to you or you saw something and you understand that we are not alone in the universe.
Okay.
How does that affect? How do you think it affects? Because I can tell you right now how the New World sees it as a complete torch of everything the old world has been about. That's how we see it.
Because, keep going, because why? Why is the torch?
Because especially for the Christicans.
All right, you can use the Christicans.
They've been beating it into our heads that not only, I mean, it's division after division. Not only is this the only place there is life, and we're super special, but also that in this backwater town, the Jews were the special of the special. And now
I see.
And now the Christicans are the ones that are really holding the torch because they're militant about stuff. So they're the guards of this. So they're even more special because they're the ones that are willing to fight to, warriors for Christ, baby. That is sorry.
That was good, by the way. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, then what happened was he clenched his fists, sort of made muscles when he said.
That's how I see you guys rolling in.
Doing it again.
144,000 of you guys.
Oh no. It's just, this is the problem. You're the actual walking incarnate. You are the manifestation of this phrase. You have just enough knowledge to be dangerous. Oh, God, guys,
that is actually spot on.
All I do is spend my time fending off just like random Jehovah's Witness references. What? Like, wait a minute. Why am I doing that?
That should be one of my epitaphs. I already have two. I think I mentioned in another podcast, the epitaphs that I've written, and my daughters know this. One is, "Here lies Seth Rahman. Just because you didn't take his advice doesn't mean he stopped giving you advice."
That's great.
And now here's this is a personal favorite of my oldest daughter.
I'm sure Avra loves this. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, this is the one she likes. The next one. "Here lies Seth Rahman." And I told them to chisel it on, make sure it happens. And John, and actually,
I'll get there. I'll get there.
You know what happens? People die, and then all of a sudden they do things the way they wanted to. Yeah, that's right. You told me 2 days ago.
You have a cross on you.
Right.
I put a cross on there. Exactly. No, he really liked it.
Exactly.
He definitely wanted that. He definitely. Did you ever hear the podcast, guys? He definitely wanted a cross.
So my second one is, "Here lies Seth Rahman. This time he couldn't muscle it out."
Guys, this is why he's one of my
because I talk about you got to muscle things out. I teach my children to do it. I do it.
Oh, I've heard you in class. Like, okay, here's what we're going to talk about right now. And then there it goes. Muscle it out.
Muscle it out.
Guys, once he told me, and he was not talking about his own wife. He was not. But he did mention, in reference to some bad parenting, you need to mom up. And by the way, I do not recommend that any man in 2022 tell any woman to mom up. You're dead. You're dead, man.
Yeah. Well, in the exact same way, I would tell my son to sun up. I tell my students, I tell all my students, this is an ongoing thing in my class. You can ask kids from 20 years ago. If I say you got to adult up,
but you have not told. you have not told Allison to mom up.
No, but that's
No.
preferable to me telling her to man up. So,
Oh, Lord. Dude, somehow, guys, I've managed on this show to get Seth canceled just now. I'm going to get your own people to cancel you. It's going to be great.
Yeah, but I mean, what are they going to cancel me out of? There's
got to be something.
Saying what? For saying what? I don't.
Well, you just said I don't tell people to mom up, but I do tell them to man up. That feels.
No, I don't tell them. I don't tell. Saying man up seems so like misogynistic or
it is to you. It is.
It's not. I don't know if that's the right word.
So you wouldn't tell your son to man up?
No way. No way. I'm not going to perpetuate this kind of society.
Guys, this was a hidden gem we didn't plan on. So you would not tell your son to man up?
No. No.
But you just got finished telling
I don't tell
all of us.
I don't tell my daughters to girl up. I'm not talking about.
But why are you talking about a role?
A mom. I'm talking to mom up is a job. To adult up is a job, a thing, not a gender.
So the nature of men and women here can be equalized.
I'm going to say if somebody's in a situation where you're like, I've said this, you've got to teach her up. You've said that too. Time to teach her up, But something about manning up. Yeah, that's why I don't say man up. I don't. Yeah, because
I mean, you could go the other way and just, as long as you're telling everybody else to up something, why don't you just tell men too? I don't get it.
Because I'd probably say I would say man up to somebody if I saw them doing something that was directly antithetical, or they weren't doing what they needed to do in that role. But I don't know what that
is as a man.
Yeah.
You would. I would. Something weird happening here. So teacher is an identity.
Yeah.
Teacher up.
Mom is an identity.
Mom
Adult
up.
is an identity.
Dad is an identity. Yeah. Dad up. But man is not an identity. Therefore, you can't say man up.
Well, tell me what it would be.
Okay, I will. You ready?
And I'll tell you. And if I would say man up there, I would.
You want me to tell you what?
Tell me something why I would use that phrase on somebody. Where I would use it.
Because a man.
Tell me what your dude was doing. Tell me what the guy was doing.
A man by nature comes into the world bigger and stronger physically by definition. Now, hold on. Not every man. Hold on. Just like all marriages are the unity of phallus and womb, but not all people are married. Okay. All men by nature and icon come in as protectors. So they should protect. And that's what you're saying man up for. Now, I've been canceled by just 1 minute ago, or just 30 seconds ago. I've been canceled, but I don't care, because that's what you're saying when you say mom up. You're saying, take that what you are, which is the bearer of this child, and mom up.
Well, I mean,
would you tell a man to mom up?
Yeah, I would. What if?
Hold on. Where's your dad? Where is he from? Was he born in India? I just
listen. I don't.
Dad,
I'm not
right
here.
Now, my
dad is not a new worlder. So
that's my point. I just wanted to apologize. What is your dad's name again? Because he's with us.
Paul.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your son just said that he will tell another man to mom up. I'm sorry that he said that, but I still love him. I'm sure your dad loves you.
I don't know. I have to think about it. Would I say mom up? Yeah, probably. I mean, if there was something but I don't even know where.
So wait, Vin, your dear friend Vin, who's a wonderful person. I don't know. He's not doing a good job getting his daughter to get in line for ice cream, and you're gonna go, Vin, mom up.
No,
it's ridiculous.
I would probably say,
Vin, come here. You're my friend. You're embarrassing me.
There's another one. I would say nut up. So there's a lot of ups. I don't know why you're fixated on this. You teach her up.
I'm not debating any of the other ups. You're the person who's not willing to say man up when there's so many other ups. It's weird.
Okay, no. I would say man up at some point if I could think of if it fit the thing, I'll do it. But I'm not going around.
I feel like I just did one of those wrestling moves on you where
let me put this.
Flipped you over the thing and then landed you on my knee and broke your back just now.
No,
you went, fine, I'd say man up. Fine, I'd do it. You don't have to, but it seems weird.
Well, here I'm about to do a suplex on you, brother.
Was that a suplex? Did I describe it?
No, something. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. Here, no, I don't know. Somebody, you're going to get a comment from someone else. I just know these jargon people.
I feel like when this podcast's over, you're going to put on one of those Mexican wrestling masks, hang around. And
well, let me put it this way.
Do it. I'm ready for it.
If your son, if you had a son, you don't have any.
I don't like.
If you had a son.
This is a soft one.
Was bawling. Would you tell him to man up?
Look, I know I would. I know I would. I would add that into the world. I would breathe that kind of word into the world, and I don't know if it's better or worse. It feels fine to me.
Okay. What if he was at church services? He was touched and he started bawling. Would you tell him to man up?
Like, I don't know, someone picked on him at church or something? Man up.
Not picked on him.
Like
because
Christ.
He heard the word of the Lord and it brought him to tears.
Oh, he's touched. I thought he got pushed or something. He's touched.
What kind of church are you running over there, man? I know you guys are going all night, or they're throwing all nighters.
To anyone who goes to church, clearly Seth doesn't, because kids act just like they do in there as they do out, and they should stop actually doing that.
Dude, stop it,
dude. Yes. No, I wouldn't say man up to him right there because he's crying for proper reasons. I said proper.
Hey, what's proper?
You might have suplexed me. Keep going. Hold on. Proper. Yeah, there's definitely, I don't know which ethic I'm working with, old or new. It's definitely old on some level. I think now, hold on. Because I claim to be Orthodox, I was baptized. I just want you to know that doesn't mean I speak for Orthodoxy, but I will say this. It's perfectly fine in my tradition to say man up to a young boy who's not being properly protective and strong and courageous.
That's fine.
But you can say it to a woman too.
Yeah, that's fine. But you
wouldn't say man up to a woman, though. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. People say that to women all the time. I bet. I don't really say it. I mean, I don't say it. Here's my point.
I feel like women would be mad in 222 if I said man up to them. They would just be mad at me for being a sexist.
Well, I mean, you're saying it to strangers. If it's too, let me put it this way. Would you say man up to your wife? And how would she react to that?
She would not like that.
I don't know. She'd like it better than mom up. I'll tell you that much.
I actually think mom up, woman up. Look, we're using this is right now. People are saying, okay, next topic. Not really, though. There's something super fascinating.
I didn't know how it went down here.
Hold on. Let's just finish it by saying this. We're just arguing about whether or not there's a nature to your masculinity that is either different or not present in a woman. And so here's what I think about it. I think about in the world that I grew up in the world that I live in, my nature is definitely not entirely encompassed in also a woman's nature. They're not the same. However, I get that there's a Venn diagram going on and that most of human life takes place in communion. In other words, most of what a woman is mostly like what a man is. But I do think there are roles to be played.
I think that's fine. I don't think you should get canceled for that.
Good, because
now can you take back the thing about canceling me then?
I definitely take it back. I don't want your people to cancel. Good. But you did make a really good point, and then I got another question for you before we start.
Well, listen,
you made a really good point to me recently, and it was in a text you sent, where essentially I forget the context, but there was a conservative politician who was saying something about another conservative that their views are not welcome here. And the one conservative who wasn't welcome was basically like some neo-fascist. And he was saying they are not allowed here. We will not listen to what they have to say. They are not to be spoken to or spoken of. And you said in your text, like,
yeah, it's a cancel.
Did he just cancel him?
Super cancellation. I think it was at CPAC, maybe.
It was at CPAC.
Yeah.
There was one right-wing politician mad at another. And so the group that was conservative canceled
let him speak. Yeah. And then, but nobody sees the irony here, that's
true.
But it's quick to label the New World's cancelers, as we talked about it. You guys are original cancelers. You got to own it.
Yeah. I think the best point made by you on this podcast was 2 or 3 ago, and I agree with it, and I think about it quite often, which is in 1910, sort of like the height of Protestant American culture on some level. You can even go earlier, but just some things weren't allowed, man. Like the Greeks weren't allowed to do their procession down the middle of their Orthodox procession down the middle of Pascha. I mean, they could, but they would get canceled. And yet they were Christians, and but Protestant community, you couldn't just roll in speaking, like Albanian in public places and expect anyone to find that particularly interesting. Like you get canceled if you didn't learn to speak English. I see what you're saying is that there's a dominant culture all the time, and that dominant culture forces people into fences, and
so it conditions you. And if you go outside of the fence, there's a shot collar. Everybody's wearing a shot collar.
Yeah, there's a price to be paid.
There's a price to be paid. But people don't like it when they're getting what they think is an attack, or they can't speak. They can't attack. People want to be able to attack.
Well, they want to be able to feel free. They want to be
attack. Free to attack.
Right. So
freedom, baby. Freedom, baby.
Okay, so we kind of touched on some abortion. That was going to be one of our topics, but I think we touched on it. We touched on this whole idea of the alien. Now, here's the last one that I think is super interesting for you. You're back in school, and you're back
next week.
Oh, is it next week?
Yeah,
I know down south in Florida, there where we used to teach, they're having
it just started.
School's kicking in again.
Okay.
Would you say that this is the year that everything's back to normal? And doesn't it feel like it should be that year?
Yeah, but that's why you guys are always looking for things to get back to normal. What about just a new normal? Why does everything have to get back to something? That's the old world or special. Always have to have some tradition, always whatever. This is it. We're post-pandemic. We're not going back to pre-pandemic. We're just different people. Everybody's different on this planet.
I see.
So, there's nothing to go back to.
In other words,
it's not there anymore.
Awesome. Keep going, though.
Well,
so just for 1 second. So masks.
Okay.
Just rolling in a mask. And it's not clear.
Yeah, so you want other people not to wear a mask?
No. What I'm trying to figure out is, at any other point in history, the mask is worn for spiritual, psychosexual reasons or medical reasons. I just want a reason for the mask at this point. Can't we have a cultural a cultural sign flashing? This is why we wear masks.
This, your endless search for a reason in this arena is just not going to end up well.
I love this.
It's just what it is. I mean, this is how I think I talked about it in the death. We did one on death.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And I've talked about this before, is that, in all the times that I've lost people in my life, the thing that was really bringing on the piling on the anguish, it was there, was this search for a reason, and so working for acceptance is the only way to go. Definitely in that area, and I think in all areas, these Buddhists are dialed in.
I see what you're saying. So
you want to talk about masks? Because for you now, going forward, anytime you see a mask, it's going to boil things up in you. Okay, and instead of that just becoming a new normal, where some people are wearing masks, some are not, but that's what's going to happen. If you're thinking you want it to be back to a time where people weren't wearing masks, which is really what you need, because anytime you see somebody with a mask, it's going to bring up something in you.
I see. No, that's beautifully said. In other words, the mask has now become a symbol of a type of freedom.
Type of freedom?
I mean, it's not as long as you guys will bury the phrase, follow the science, and also repent for that phrase. So here's a little physics for you.
Why do you want the
Here's a little physics. I'm going to try to explain some physics. These are spiritual physics. This is super important.
Oh,
this is
spiritual.
Important.
Okay, that's fine.
These are spiritual physics. Spiritual physics. In other words, sort of like if you and I go up to the top of your roof and jump off, we will break legs, and you'll be like, yeah, duh. Here's spiritual physics. This is how it works. Okay. When a group of people or a person spend a whole bunch of their time saying things that aren't true, or worse, manipulating words in order to get what they want, and then they all just want to go, it's post-pandemic, move on. You can do that. You can do that. You can. Spiritual physics means there will be blood. It's how it works. Because when you're repentant, hold on, whether it's me or you, when you repent, or in other words, when you get on your knees and you ask for forgiveness, you allow the other person to be free and to find favor in you once again. If you don't repent spiritually, the physics are, so that person must fight you. That person must.
Oh, listen, do not blame you. Please do not blame my side for us forcing you into being so ate up about something that went opposite of the way you thought it should in politics. No, because it's a political thing made political by you guys, because if everybody had just done it, but
you don't agree with my spiritual physics. In other words,
no, I don't. I think it's ridiculous.
So let's take a make-believe couple, not you and Allison. And the wife is manipulating the man, or vice versa. The man is manipulating the wife, manipulating, sleeping around, and saying things that are semi-true in order to get what he wants. And then his wife finds out, yeah, you know what? That wasn't true. And he goes, you know what? It's a new era. You and I are going to be together. It's going to go great. I'm just going to tell you the spiritual physics. It's not going to go great until that man asks for forgiveness. Right.
Because you are equating infidelity to actions done in a pandemic that you think were overboard and manipulative.
If you still sitting there, my friend, if you still sitting there in Chicago, if you still think that the mandates to get the shot and the mandates to wear a mask were science, if you still think that, you're a crazy person. No. You are a crazy person at this point. Those were not science.
I didn't say that.
Well, then the scientific people need to go, sorry, it really wasn't science. It was more like a symbol so that we'd all could be unified. Sorry for saying it was science.
And until what happens if they do that? What happens until that happens, what?
Until that happens, there will be what there is, war, and it's coming.
Yeah.
And the other side has to do the same thing. Here's what I would say. The other side has to do the same thing.
The other side's not going to do it. The other side's not going to do it.
You're demonstrating my point right now.
Well, why should the side that, and that's for your side too, why should the side that generally believes they tried to do the right thing be the ones that have to take the high road?
Because here's why. In reality, which is also based on your reality, the scientific reality, in reality, the masks and the vaccine did not stop the spread. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Because no one wore masks and no one took the vaccine in Africa. Everyone now knows this, Seth. Everyone is aware of the truth. And so all there has to be is yeah, we got that wrong. That was wrong.
For us to stop you from attacking?
No, that's not.
Then what? You said there's going to be bloodshed. Then
here's why there's bloodshed.
Whose blood?
Here's how it works. Spiritually, this is in the Buddhist tradition, the Hindu tradition, the Christian tradition. You can't forgive somebody who doesn't ask for it. It's impossible.
But it's
in other words,
okay,
you can live with someone, and if you're a good Christian, you can live peacefully with someone, but you can never commune with them as it's meant to be.
Okay, so in a history, in a history of humanity, where things like this have happened, and nobody's been apologizing. People generally don't do this, John.
State of war.
Okay, that's why we're inexorably in a state of war, right?
Correct.
Because nobody's doing it. So you're really, this is what you're fighting, is that this is the last time that the most recent. Those are the most recent.
I didn't say that. I know that our lives together, even you and I, will never end in peace and proper truth and love unless one of us asks for forgiveness. And that's just a microcosm, and it's a fractal reality. That's how it works. And it works on the state level. It works on the political level. That's how it works.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. In terms of interactions, but think about this. Are you going to ask for forgiveness?
Oh, here's what when it comes to the pandemic, this is what I'm going to ask for forgiveness. And I'm really willing to do this. And if anybody wants to write me or call me, I'm happy to do this. There was no reason for me to be angry about ever wearing a mask. What I was properly angry about was the explanations for my mask wearing. But when I wore a mask, I was angry. I shouldn't have been angry. Anger is not justified.
And do you think that anger multiplied by 180 million people or whatever it is
dangerous,
led to a situation or contributed to the situation and contributed to your anger now about this?
I'm not that angry now. What I'm trying to look for is the great elixir for all human relationships, which is I'm trying to look for
I'll tell you
reconciliation.
I think here's what's going to happen is
it's not happening.
We have to wait for the next thing in human history, and then hopefully. Why does it have to be on this?
Here, let me ask you something. This will make it really clear to you, super clear to you. Do you think Donald Trump would apologize for any of his political activities? No. Why do you think everyone hates that dude? And your people are now repeating the Trumpian reality. And you have to stop.
Here's what I'm saying.
Stop.
It's not going to end with Donald Trump, and it's not going to end with the
but you're doing
response.
the thing now. Now you're doing you're rational. You're trying to rationalize.
Well, here's my point. You are on this issue, I think. Having a sense, you're putting more into it, like it was a worldwide conspiracy to lead people, to control them, to control people. Correct? Am I saying something wrong here?
I would say it was an American-led conspirity to get people to buy drugs. Drugs.
Fine.
And I don't know why you don't believe that. It's almost about as proven as you can prove. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how clear this is now. But the weird part is the people, your people, will not say that because it undermines what is religious for you guys.
Okay, that might be true.
Science. And the science was not right.
But
it was not correct.
Your people won't, in our people's estimation, won't admit that 1 + 1 = 2.
Well,
And so if you guys will apologize for being blinded to the realities of society, then I'm happy to, on behalf of all my people, say we manipulated you into buying our drugs.
This guy, guys, this guy is. So did you just ask me to admit to the scientific worldview and then we can all get along? Is that what you're saying?
Okay. Let's put it this way, and we'll talk about the Christians. Can everybody say that they're sorry for not thinking Donald Trump was destructive and stupid and a person who has turned this society and the basest, crummiest emotions in people? People believe he's the Messiah. They say that. It's not even believe it. They say that. So if those people, which is 180 million people that voted for this person, if you voted for this guy, don't try to equivocate and say, oh, it was lesser of evils, whatever. You voted for this dolt. If everybody here, those people, which is your people, will apologize for the lack of self-awareness and for ruining this country, then I'm happy to speak for the New Worlders in offering my heartfelt apologies for forcing mandates on you, which I honestly do believe that was a mistake. I'm not saying it was a good move. I think it's a mistake. It was a mistake. And whatever else you want me to apologize for, if I think it's
I don't want you to. That's the whole point of apologies.
Well, no.
Once you start wanting people to do it, it's kind of screwed
up. Well, you do what you do
want it. No, I'll speak to this. Really, I want you to hear this, because the problem is that leadership matters. And so, as you know, teaching history, the problem is people no longer think leadership matters, but the leadership is essential to the body. The head is essential to the body. So our leaders are trapped, and they're trapped in this cycle that I'm trying to explain to you that you actually agree with, because I can hear you wanting to apologize for the right things, but none of our leaders even half talk like this. They're not even close to talking like this. Now, you and I might go, well, they're all losers. What difference does it make? And I would just say this. All the difference in the world is we don't have leaders. I mean, obviously, Trump needs to say, I stirred up problems in order to retain
power. I don't want him to apologize.
Why?
I want the 180 million people to apologize.
I know, but this is weird.
Because no, that's what you want.
Who do you want? No, I don't want someone. I don't want you to apologize for your vote for Joe Biden.
You want Biden to apologize for the mandates? Who do you want to apologize?
Here's what I don't want. Saying? Here's what I don't want. Seth, apologize right now for voting for Joe Biden. No, I don't care about that. That seems moronic. What I'm talking about is leaders. Once we vote, leaders are responsible to the people, and none of these leaders. I want Joe Biden to say the things who is responsible, that unite society.
What if a leader says, John,
unite society?
John, okay. What if a leader says this? What if a leader says this? What if a leader says, if you elect me, I am going to lie to you. And you vote for me. Who would you like an apology from? Or you're saying still me when I told you.
So I want to lie. The hierarchy of apologies is really clear.
Yeah, I do want to.
The leader who is duping the people should be the one who is responsible.
Okay. Does he go below if he says, I'm going to dupe you, and then you are duped?
I'm responsible.
You don't care.
I'm always responsible for my actions. Personal You're not understanding what I'm trying to say.
No, I know what you're trying to say.
Leadership is a thing.
Yes.
In other words, some people lead and other people follow. You and I hate to tell you, are followers. in the American political system,
Yeah,
we are
you got that
followers,
right.
dude.
Yeah,
We are
you
not
got that
leaders.
right.
So
I
all
know
I'm
that.
trying to say, now you're a leader
Yeah.
in your family. And so you have a special and unique responsibility to your family. And leaders in society, no matter how democratic, we're so democratic.
Okay.
And
So
we have leaders. Our body politic has a head, and the head is responsible for doing what is right. None of them are doing it. Okay. And that means the body will follow.
so you
Like
okay,
this
so
conversation is an example of us following. How do you not know that the science was effed up? And how do I not know that a bunch of good old boys were about ready to shoot people over it?
Okay.
I'm with
So
you.
obviously you believe and that everybody in government knew that it was a ruse and that
no, I don't know what they know. I don't know what they knew. It is evident now, and you know it. It's evident now that those things that were Fauci, that were scientific, were wrong. All I'm saying is maybe
you
they all
want them
believe.
to come.
Maybe
Right.
they all
You want
believed
them to
it was
see
right.
that you want
Dude, this is what repentance looks like.
You want them to apologize and say that they see now that they were wrong, so that you can get the release.
No,
that this person has on you. You said
it's spiritual physics, man.
Spiritual physics.
It's what good people look like. Let me ask you something. It's very rare that the person involved in the sin is super aware of the sin at the time. You know this in your own life. You are unclear that you're irritating the hell out of Allison until it's clear.
I know that.
Until it's clear.
I know that.
When it's clear, guess what happens? Now it's incumbent on you to say the thing to Allison. And it doesn't mean at the time you were some manipulative, evil genius. It means you woke up to reality. And now reality is demanding that you say something to Allison because you want to be unified. And if you don't, you won't be unified. It's not possible spiritually. You have to bend.
Right. I understand that. I understand that.
All these people, people need to say the thing.
I know.
Man.
You know what? If everybody
say the thing
would say the thing that they need to atone for, it would be a much better world. I agree. And I agree.
Awesome. So I was just pointing out one of the things that need to be said. Here's another thing that needs to be said. We being, I hate when you call my people, because I wasn't one of these people.
It is you.
There was a delight in certain parts of the country in holding the middle finger for prolonged periods of time. The finger became the way of life. And that's not good. That's bad. That's destructive to the person holding his middle finger up. And so where those people exist,
I believe that base emotion and that reaction is worse than following a course that you thought maybe would, and then maybe you realized it was too late and you were already on this thing and you had to do your thing. You know, rather than going into something,
it's possible.
I mean, I believe that to purposely try to say F you to people, I think is far more destructive to this thread you're saying is.
Unless the thing that you were talking about, the science meant that you lost your job, meant that the thing that you loved was taken away from you, meant that you had to move out.
Then it's justified. Then it's justified in your estimation.
No, hold on. Anger is just a reflection of your own spiritual immaturity. I mean, there's righteous anger, but that's very rare.
Okay, but in any situation where someone is, when Jesus is on the cross, he wasn't saying,
correct.
Oh, yeah, look at they did this to me. This
forgive them. Right. But I get that too. But you know what? Some people learn how to dribble, and other people learn how to dribble like Michael Jordan. It's called spiritual maturity. Very few people have that type of spiritual maturity. Yeah, that's why they need the people who put the nails in the hand to say sorry about that.
Listen, well, I'll tell you what people don't want is then you telling them to become more mature. Because I'm
just talking to you. I'm just talking to you, but I'm talking on behalf of all these people who are watching. And I'm just saying, if if your politicians in this new world blue situation had the desire to unite the country, they could have done it already, but they don't have that desire. They have the desire to drum out whatever Trumpian things are. The problem is everybody gets lumped together with that. There are plenty of smart people who went, something's not right, and they could have cared less about Trump.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But there's I think from my point of view, the problem is for you getting lumped in worse than for me.
I know
getting
you
lumped
love
in with
this.
my people. I do. You know, if those people on your side, I find them far more repulsive. I mean, there's bigots everywhere.
Let me ask you something. Let's end with this, because I'll do a Lion King thing. Simba or whatever. Did you ever see Lion King?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's say there's such a thing as Christians. By the way, this could catch on.
Yeah, right.
So Christians are, let's just put them on the run, like wildebeest in Lion King. Like there's some of you out there. There's some Simba Seths out there, and they start to get the wildebeest on the run, and you're chasing the wildebeest, the Christians, and it's pretty clear that it's not going well, and you see the cliff coming up. In your world, would you keep pushing until they go over the edge? Do you want to push the Christians over the Serengeti cliffs and just end that part of what amounts to American culture?
Yes.
That's my very honest friend.
Yes.
And I think those Christians realize that.
Yeah.
And some of them are going to turn around and it's going to be messy.
Yeah. Well, it already is.
I know.
You know, it's been messy.
Let's end on that Lion King note. That was honest, dude. Are you going to push me over the edge, though? I don't want to get into, I'm not running. I probably already got trampled.
You're not running. You know what's going to happen is you're going to be running. Then we're going to catch up to you. And then you're going to say, okay, let's get him. And you're going to jump on our side. And you know, I told you.
Dude, none of this will be funny when it's happening. None of it. It's good. Just you know history.
I know that.
It is
happening. It is happening. And it's not pretty. What kind of comments do you have from
you know what? We went so long. I'll give you.
Oh, okay.
No, well, let's do.
Andrew, you can cut out stuff in the beginning.
You know, that's a desperate podcast. Andrew, please edit or cut something that we said. Cut stuff that we said.
A lot of these bits.
All right, hold on. Let me just. I'll show you a couple comments. Here's one. This is from LO10 over on iTunes.
Nice.
Do you guys? This is to Uncle Seth. Do you guys ever just brawl for real?
Funny you should ask that. We were in a fight club. John and I were in a fight club. People.
That's how we know each other, actually.
Yeah. And I gave him a couple shots with my long reach. Look at these arms.
By the way, he's actually saying something kind of true. We used to box in the back this back garage.
By a church.
Over by a church where we used to. That's true. You're right. It was by a church.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you punched me pretty hard. Brian Job actually hurt my sternum. How about that?
He does a lot of body work. You know, he's down there. he was
Roberto Duran, all body work, just body work.
Hands of stone. All right, who else?
Here's one. This is from Jacob the Fool. Does Uncle Seth think atheists are religious?
No. You know, I mean, if it depends on how you use the word. Am I religious? If I'm religious about my bathroom cleaning, then yes, atheists are religious. If you're trying to say that atheism is a religion, I find that argument tired. And so no.
And it's because there's not a God involved? Is that what happens in your mind?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
That's helpful. That's clarifying. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
would disagree with you, including me. Here's one more. This is from a guy named Matthew White. Why do atheists like Uncle Seth assume that the main point of religion is to lead a moral life? And that comes from, I think, the Uber monster one. He's saying, you seem to think that, oh, I'm religious, therefore the whole point of my existence is to lead a moral life. And I agree with Matthew White. That's not really what Orthodoxy is about.
I'll tell you why. Because one of the tried and true arguments that you've brought up a million times and every Christian brings up is, if you don't have a God, why don't you just do what you want? It's nihilist. You love that.
That's true.
That's why, because you guys keep telling us that's your argument.
Well, can I
Matthew White.
Could I put it Matthew White?
Yeah, thanks, Matthew White. No, I appreciate it. It's a good. That's a good question.
That's a good answer.
Exactly why.
It's a good answer. Can I just put a cherry on top of that for 1 second?
Sure.
There's no evidence, and my faith does not claim there to be any evidence that being Orthodox has made anybody more moral. In other words, there's plenty of good people who aren't baptized and practicing Orthodox Christianity. That's really not the point. And I'm just speaking from an Orthodox Christian point of view.
Okay.
And that's, don't paint me. But when you enter into, think of water, a stream. The goal of the stream is that you take it, one, and cleanse yourself of all the hard work to get there. And then you ride it. You take it to a place where you become clear and aware of the reality of your existence. So the idea is the same one that all you New Worlder, all you guys love. But we don't use the same vocabulary. It's to awake. It's to become enlightened or illumined, which is a phrase we do use, or to become deified, to become aware of Christ in me and all that I'm supposed to become. So it's an awareness, it's an awakening, it's an illumination. So that's all
that I'm supposed to become. What does that look like?
It looks like Christ. So I don't expect you to agree with that. But what I'm saying is it looks like eternal life because that's what we're meant for. We're meant to live in resurrection, just like Christ. So we're meant to live, like you just made a great point, which was, how come people don't act like Jesus when they're getting nailed? Well, we're meant to. We're meant to be like that. We're just not, because we fall short. But the reason you become, quote, religious and get into the water is because the current is going in the right direction. And you guys are just walking around taking whatever path you want and claiming it to be good, which is fine. But there's a river, man.
Jump in.
Yeah.
Jump in for the ride.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. All right, Uncle Seth.
Hey guys, thanks for having me again.
This
John,
is
great.
This is the alien. What are we calling this?
I wish we could.
The alien edition.
I apologize, everybody. I know.
No, that was a good one.
It was a good one. I would have liked to really dig in on some of these more questions that blow your whole system out of the water.
We get your point. Is that when
it just brings
when the movie Arrival happens, it makes all the Christicans go, wait a minute, I thought that was going to be Jesus. Yeah. It doesn't really do that.
They talk a little bit about it in Contact. Have you seen Contact?
Yeah, Contact. Really deep.
It's a really good movie.
Solid movie.
Beautiful movie.
And the opening credits of Contact are crazy, incredible. Yeah, I agree. All right. Saying goodbye to Uncle Seth. We'll see you again in 6 weeks.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Will you come back and bring us more stories from the edge?
Sure.
That's the edge being your world that you live in.
New World Edge.
The very, very far edge. Don't you feel like you're on the moon sometimes? Actually, no, I'm kidding. Goodbye, Uncle Seth.
Good night, everybody.
Love you, man. All right. I don't know what to say about all that. Here's what I do want to say. Donate to First Things Foundation. We're in a bit of a donation schmomation. That's a fancy way of saying we're in a momentum run toward raising money for 2023. I'd love for you to become a monthly donor. That means a little bit of money from a lot of bit of people adds up to some really cool operational planning based on real numbers. And we need you to help us. We do small project development. We find local people in the most difficult of circumstances and then facilitate, invest in, and help them build their most beautiful projects. It's easy. We go in, learn the culture, and then just assist people who are already ready to go. Much like people did for us, much like you would do for us. You come alongside and assist us as we try to grow. This is the way of the world. Spiritual physics. Love for one another creates increase. Thank you. Donate. Go to www.first-things.org. Thanks for coming on. Nakfam dis au revoir, and see you next time on WAWTAR.